I always trying to figure out how they can charge you $2,000, $3,000 for maybe $5,000 for the quote unquote premium sound system, and it's lifeless. I don't understand. I've had a Benz with the upgraded system. It was terrible. I had right now a BMW X5 M50i with the upgraded sound. I don't even know what that cost. $3,500, 4,000. I'm just guessing off the top of my head. And you pretty much have to get it because the stock stereo is so bad. If you like music, you have to get the upgrade. And then I'm sitting here like, I come from the car stereo world, and I love audio equipment. I work a little bit in the music industry. I want my 808s to hit, man. And I don't need two 18-inch subs in the back, but whether it's I'm listening to EDM and you got a nice deep Moog synth, or listening to some hip hop and those 808s hit, you want them to hit. These systems are lifeless. I feel like they have a huge EQ shelf that just muddies the sound or makes it way too bright. I don't understand. Like, this is what you get. So think about it. That's 3 or 4 grand over the stock stereo. So what are we talking here? 5 grand is the real cost. Do you know what kind of stereo you can put in for $5,000 with aftermarket components? Like, and I know it's not the same, but I just can't understand. Like, I probably do components for like $1,500 that would destroy this thing. I'm not talking SPL or a Mata base. It's just something that sounds good. It's got doesn't have that muddy 500 hertz to like 2,000 hertz range and tweeters that just want to make your ears bleed with, and then you don't have the low end to go with it. It's like, I feel like they only design car stereos for people that are over 60 years old. And I kind of saw Chrysler and Jeep going down the right route, where I felt like they had a good balance of people that actually wanted to hear and feel their music. Like, it needs to sound good with country, with classic, with EDM and hip hop and pop. A stereo for $4,000 or $5,000 should be able to do that. If you're in a home audio and you got $20,000 to $30,000 tied up in a system, it can do that. It doesn't play just one type of music well. When you get into that price range, it plays everything well. I just feel like it doesn't matter when Lexus did the Mark Levinson. You have the Harman Kardon stuff. You got the BMW in the BMW, which now I think I just saw on their website it's Harman Kardon. It's like, come on, what's the other one? Burmaster. I feel like no matter, I've never heard one that I've just felt was even worth half the cost of what they charge. It's also mind blowing to me that you go back in the day, I probably could have got a Jensen radio from like Murray's and threw in some like Sparko-matic 6x9s and Bazooka 2 bassing, and it would probably sound better than some of the car stereos that are coming out of luxury car factories, or not the upgraded, the stock. The stock systems are so bad. I want to drive around with headphones if it was legal. I'm about to get one of those JBL charge things, or Beats pill, and throw it on the dash because sometimes it sounds better than what comes stock. GMC had that Bose system. I actually use that. I always found that system to be a good reference when I was messing around with mixing and mastering stuff. Sometimes I would get an aux cord and go sit in my truck because I felt like that system represented a bulk of what people would be listening to out there. Still wasn't that great sounding at the end of the day, but that system was designed for like, that was like the average. And where's the great? What do you get for $4,000 or $5,000? So I don't know. What's the best car sound system you've heard stock or an upgrade that comes from the factory. I just feel like for $3,000 or $4,000, what I have in my BMW right now is not wonderful. I got a new Ford truck on order. It might get here by 2025, it seems, with the supply chain issues. But I'm curious to see what that thing does. It's a $90,000 truck, and I'm sure the stereo is going to suck. Um, I'm just thinking about of all the cars I have, all the cars I've owned, luxury cars, non-luxury cars. Hell, one of my classic cars probably sounds better, with a whatever an Alpine head unit and like four 6x9s and an amp. Probably sounds better than some of the stuff that's coming out of the factory on 60, 70, 80, 90, or $100,000 cars. It's crazy. I'm not talking like we don't need some Steve Mead bass, right? It's that if I want to throw in some 90s hip hop, I want to hear a kick drum that sounds good. I don't want to just get blasted in the ear with a hi hat. Um, these things are very cued towards the upper range, and then you throw in the muddy mid range, and it's not a very pleasant system. It's like, man, give me something flat. Just give me something that sounds like a studio monitor that's just flat that I can go in and tune with an EQ a little bit to my taste. These things are not flat. They're very biased towards high end, and it's I know old people may not like bass, but it is if that's part of the mix, then that is how it was supposed to sound. And I just find a lot of hard times you just can't. By the time you turn it up enough to get some bass, it's one of those things where I think on certain systems, especially on that Bose system, it starts to, as you turn it up more, it starts to roll off the bass. So the bass will stay the same, but your mids and your highs will just keep going. It's just like, why is it so hard to get this right? If you ever watched that docu series called The Defiant Ones about Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine, they actually had them sitting in a Chrysler car with one of the Chrysler engineers, and they were tuning that system, trying to get it to sound right. Is everyone that's tuning these cars and developing these systems 75 years old? I get it. We like listening to classical music, and I'm sure for some people, bass is annoying, but the world's changing. And if you're gonna charge $3,000 to $5,000 for a quote unquote upgraded system, I better be able to play all music well. But, anyways, what's your favorite system? Drop a comment below. I'm curious to hear. Until then, I'm gonna catch you on the next one.